Folks, I'm a millennial, and back in my day, stage parents exploited their children the old-fashioned way by cashing in on their singing, dancing, and acting. But times have changed. Now, Gen Zers with no discernible talents or skills are cashing in on the political grift, and the DNC, Biden administration, and communist TikTok are happy to oblige. Meet Chris Mowry and Harry Sisson, two prominent Gen Z TikTok influencers who want you to know they are, in fact, infected with the disease known as liberalism. Well, at least when it pays.
What the Republican Party doesn't understand about Gen Z is we don't like you.
You claim you want to appeal to Gen Z, but you call us stupid, you say we're dumb, you say we're indoctrinated. I promise it's a losing strategy.
And Gen Z is watching the Republican Party extremely closely as they destroy our environment, take rights away from women, do nothing about kids being shot in schools, and if they think they can give the middle finger to our generation and get away with it, they're sorely mistaken.
Let's all join together in a moment of silence and hope and pray that we do not have a military draft anytime soon, because if so, we are royally and completely screwed. And while these two may look like moppy-headed One Direction knockoffs, they sadly have millions of followers, and that video I just played for you has over 4.4 million views on Twitter. I don't know what it has on TikTok because, as you well know, I will not log on to that communist Chinese spy balloon in app form. But those two nincompoops are just a couple of reportedly 100 TikTokers the Biden campaign has enlisted to push his agenda and up his cool factor. And get this, Team Biden is reportedly throwing around the idea of giving these influencers their own briefing room at the White House. The Biden camp plus said juvenile grifters claim they are unpaid and just passionate about the Democrat cause.
But recently, many people on the right have been accusing myself and Chris of being paid by the DNC, and we just wanted to come on and say that's an incredibly dumb thing to think. And look, if the DNC is handing out checks, we should be first in line to receive them, but that's simply not happening, and we haven't received a dime from the DNC. And we want to make it clear, we're perfectly happy to work with organizations that share our vision. So if someone reached out to us and say, hey, we're trying to make sure the environment is protected, we'd love to work with them. But we are simply not working with the DNC, and we want to reiterate that everything that's been posted on social media is public information.
Weird. Some quick research over Federal Election Commission data shows that actually the DNC made payments of over $210,000 to Palette Media, the talent agency that represents, you guessed it, the wannabe Backstreet Boys, Harry Sisson and Chris Mowry. And while I wish I could just continue to sit here and make fun of them and others like them because it's oh so easy, they wield a lot of power with young people, and underestimating their reach and their influence would be a mistake. As Republicans, conservatives, Trumpers, ultra megas, whatever you want to call us, we cannot ignore this, and we cannot ignore Gen Z or millennial voters any longer. If we keep catering to old people and boomers, we will lose. If we keep thinking the RNC strategy of just throwing fancy donor dinners for rich white people will do the trick, we're going to find out the hard way when we lose again. We must show up on college campuses. We must be active on social media. We must fight for the hearts and the minds of young people and meet them where they are, one app at a time. I've dedicated much of my career to that very goal, and y'all know I'm going to fight like hell to reach them, but I can't do it alone. Conservatives came together and tanked Bud Light sales by 26%. We should for damn sure be able to take that same energy and transfer it to our election strategy. If we lose in 2024 to Joe freaking Biden because we refuse to get crafty and play the game, we don't deserve to continue our existence as a party. So get your iPhones out, folks. We've got work to do.
America's been drinking beer from a company that doesn't even know which restroom to use. That's why I created Conservative Dad's Ultra Right 100% woke-free beer. As conservatives, we're constantly getting hit in the face, left and right, by the woke mind virus. But the last place we want it is in our beer. If you know which bathroom to use, you know what beer you should be drinking. Stop giving money to woke corporations that hate our values.
Well, after that whole trans Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light partnership controversy, conservatives have been taking their brew business elsewhere. Bud Light has lost billions, and while they've tried to patch things up, the damage has been done. But luckily, conservatives now have an alternative after a dad launched his brand Ultra Right beer in response to the whole controversy. And guess what? He's crushing it. Sales have already hit 1 million. The brand has gained over 10,000 customers and sold over 20,000 six-packs and counting. Does this mean conservatives are finally coming into our power? Joining me now is CEO of Freedom Speaks Up and co-founder of Ultra Right Beer, Seth Weathers. Seth, it's great to have you.
Great to be here, Tommy.
So this Bud Light thing, I think we all thought it was going to die out after maybe a week, 2 weeks, but it's now going on a month. And I think that this is here to stay. I think Bud Light is going to be kind of irreparably damaged from this. Do you think there's any coming back for that brand?
If I have anything to do with it, no. And I do think that this is the time that conservatives are actually following through with this. The thing is, conservatives have no capital in the corporate economy because we get upset, we yell and scream, we talk about it, we skip a couple football games, but then we're right back in the stands 2 or 3 weeks later. But this seems to actually have the legs that we're going to stick to it. And you're seeing that with their sales numbers continue to go down. We can't say, oh, it's down, we give up now. We got to continue that. And I saw even some news today that they're even providing distributors with free Bud Light right now to try to incentivize them to push their, can I say horse piss on here? Their beer, nonetheless, on consumers. But I think people are done falling for that.
Yeah, I think so too. And I've also been really happy to see that conservatives, as you said, have finally followed through on something, been able to take it across the finish line. Yeah, again, it's the same thing with everything, with our election strategy, with how we battle woke Hollywood, woke academia, woke media. We always complain about it. We bitch and we moan, and then we do absolutely nothing. But this time was a little different. I think people were pushed a little too far, and this whole trans in everybody's face thing, it hit too close to home when it came to Bud Light. And I want to also discuss that commercial itself, the endorsement with Dylan Mulvaney, because I think that you and I probably share the same feeling on it. It's not because this person is trans, okay? I don't really care. It's because this person is dressing up like a woman in a prom gown and drinking Bud Light as if women who drink Bud Light dress in prom gowns, wear pearls, have their hair done for prom, and act like bimbos. That's what personally offended me. And I think that that's really why you saw the backlash. Do you agree, or is it something else?
Yeah, I think you're right. Look, anyone that's 18 has the right and ability to do whatever it is they want to do with themselves. But this is, again, is belittling to women, which is kind of what you're saying. If I was a woman and I saw this being the representation of me, I think I would be a little pissed off too. And I think a lot of women are. Because, look, people realize that, do you know women that behave that way? I don't. And again, Dylan, the whole act is pretending to be a little girl. That's kind of the whole act on TikTok. So again, this person markets towards children, and then Bud Light's making this bizarre mockery of women as their person promoting their brand. I think if that wasn't a line in the sand, conservatives didn't have one. And I'm happy to see that it seems that it is a line in the sand and that we're going to stick to it. And I think going forward, if we can cause permanent economic harm to one of these corporations, I've said this for years, we have to cause permanent economic harm. We can't skip a couple games. It has to be permanent. We have to damage a brand. And if we can cause that, corporations will think twice about dumping on conservatives in the future. Because I got news for you. All these corporations, this is exactly what they think of conservatives. They think you're a joke. They don't like us. They don't respect us. They're in their Madison Avenues studios coming up with these advertising programs, and that's what the majority of them think of it. Bud Light made the mistake of showing us what they think of us, and I think that they're receiving the backlash, and it has to keep up.
What is the feedback that you've gotten so far? I mean, obviously you're crushing it. Sales have been fantastic. You've got a lot of buzz, a lot of hype. But what has been the response from your customers, from your brand, and why they choose to buy it? Have you heard from any of them? What are they telling you?
I'm hearing from more people than I have the ability to respond to, so I want to thank everyone for that, because seeing all those positive messages, whether it's social media, phone, whatever, it does mean a lot to me. It's humbling to receive. And again, beer is the catalyst for what we're doing, but I feel like I'm on a mission here. I feel like the Blues Brothers right now. I feel like I'm on a mission. And again, beer happens to be the catalyst. I would be doing this if it was apple juice. Apple juice doesn't seem to get people as excited. But nonetheless, we're on a mission, and I think everyone's in on that mission with us. The average Americans are in on this mission, and it's standing up to these corporations and saying, we're done. Stop pushing this down our face. Stop trying to push it in front of our children. And I think that seeing people unite around that. And again, it's funny that beer happens to be the item that unites everyone on this, but maybe we should have known all along that beer would be that item.
Well, I love beer. I'm a beer drinker, so I agree. I've never had Bud Light was never my choice or my favorite anyway, so it's not a big loss to me. But do you think, my last question for you, we were able, and when I say we, I mean the conservative movement was able to tank Bud Light by about 26% in the last month. Obviously, your brand is doing very well, making up for it. Do you think we're going to be able to take this energy into actually voting in 2024? Because for me, if we can all come together and cost a major beer brand billions of dollars, we should probably be able to win Georgia. That's just my thought.
God, Tommy, I would like to say yes, of course we will, but I don't know. I'm proud of us as conservatives for sticking to this as much as we have. And so maybe this is a sign of the times to come in the future. And I can tell you this, our brand will be doing everything in our power. If we have to put voting information on cans, whatever it may be, we're going to do everything in our power to make sure the people that are this fired up about beer are that fired up about elections. And so I think that is, you make a great point. And again, I'm going to use this brand, every bit of it, to encourage people to vote right and do the right thing with this. So I think that's a very good reminder.
I think there should be rallies with ultra-right beer and then ballot harvesting where it's legal, voter registration tents. I think we actually, for once, try to play the game and win the game for once. That would be really nice. Seth, congratulations on all of your success. We look forward to seeing what you're going to do going into the election, and God bless you.
Thanks, Tommy.